All right, so today we're going to be working into the abdominal areas. So we're going to be going over external abdominal obliques, internal abdominal obliques, as well as rectus abdominis and transversus abdominis, which is going to be our deepest abdominal muscle. First one we're going to look at, which is our most superficial, is going to be external abdominal oblique. So this is going to come down from the pubic bone, the anterior iliac crest, and the abdominal aponeurosis. So abdominal aponeurosis is going to be a fibrous structure that just runs along kind of that midway of the abdomen. It's enveloping rectus abdominis, but it's connecting to the other abdominal muscles. So it's just going to be something right down midline. That's going to be our start point. So it's going to be down into kind of the lower abdomen. External abdominal obliques is then going to come up and insert into the inferior borders of ribs 5 through 12. So our lower 8 ribs. So it comes on a bit of an angle. So we like to call this, sticking my hand in my hoodie pocket. That's going to be the fiber direction for our external abdominal obliques. Because of that fiber direction, what it does is we do have our flexion. So it's going to flex the body up. It's going to laterally flex. But what we're looking at with this fiber direction is contralateral rotation. So it's going to bring the shoulder of the side I'm working on to the opposite hip of what I'm working on. So it's going to move the body in the opposite way than the muscle is on. So let's look at the muscle. Can you find your pubic bone for me, please? Okay, and you're okay with me palpating there? Okay, so I'm gonna come down to the pubic bone. Iliac crest is here, and abdominal aponeurosis is there as well. This is a flat muscle, so I just have to let my hands spread across the flat muscle. So the action I'm gonna have is contralateral rotation. So again, I'm gonna have the shoulder of the side I'm working on go to the opposite hip because it's the hip that is bringing it to the opposite side. If you could do that for me. So I'm just feeling for that tensing of the fibers and relax. And again, and relax. And so I'm following that fiber direction up towards the ribs. Okay, and one more time, and relax. I'm just coming up into those lower ribs. So ribs 5 through 12. And that's external abdominal oblique. Our next one is going to be internal abdominal oblique. So this fiber direction is going in the opposite direction than external abdominal obliques. So now we are starting from inguinal ligament, that's going to be between our pubic bone and the ilium. We're coming from the iliac crest and the thoracolumbar fascia. So it's going to come from all the way behind into that thoracolumbar fascia and wrap around and then up into the ribs. So it comes from that level and it's going to go into that abdominal aponeurosis and ribs 10 through 12, so the lower ribs. So now our fiber direction is going in the opposite direction of external abdominal oblique. It's still going to do flexion, it's still going to do lateral flexion, but now instead of contralateral rotation, it's going to pull the body into ipsilateral rotation, so same side rotation. So now this shoulder is coming to the same hip that I'm working on. If you could do that for me. So now we're doing ipsilateral rotation. So I'm moving in the fiber direction. So let's start down at the inguinal ligament as well as the iliac crest, and then we're going to have some of that fiber direction of the thoracolumbar fascia. So we're going to be moving up this way. So again, it's flat muscle, so just let my hands sit and sink a little bit because we have to get underneath external abdominal oblique. Okay, I'm going to have you do that motion again for me. So this is internal, so ipsilateral rotation. Okay, and following directions, thank you. And we're just moving upwards into that abdominal aponeurosis and then the lower 3 ribs. So just up for our fiber direction. Next one is going to be rectus abdominis. So rectus abdominis, this is going to be right down midline. So right down midline, so we're coming from the pubic bone and the pubic symphysis, that's there as well. And then it's gonna come straight up into the xiphoid process, or the xiphoid bone, and the costal cartilages of ribs 5 through 7. So the last ribs to connect to that sternum. So again, I'm gonna have you find the pubic bone, thank you. I'm gonna replace my hands. So we're coming from that pubic bone. All we're really doing is flexion. So I'm just gonna have you flex for me and relax. I'm just gonna bring my hands up to the side so that I can border off that rectus abdominis. You can almost pick it up, so this is both sides of rectus abdominis. Okay, and if you could do a little crunch again and relax, just having them fire it off the muscle as we move along. Okay, one more time, and relax. And then we're just moving up until we find that xiphoid process. So that's rectus abdominis. Our last one is going to be transversus abdominis. So transversus abdominis is going to connect all the way from the back, from the thoracolumbar fascia, iliac crest, ribs, and it's going to wrap around to come and insert into the abdominal aponeurosis. So really for this one, it's going to come all the way around. So we're going to come to the sides, grasp both sides, and kind of come in a little bit. What transversus abdominis does is it compresses the abdominal pelvic cavity for things like forced breathing or vomiting, coughing, things like that. So we're gonna have our hands in, sinking a little deeper. What I'm gonna have Chloe do is take a deep breath in and then a forceful belly breath out. So I'm just feeling for that tension under my hand as she breathes out. And again for me, please. Okay, following it to center. And one more time. And then just getting to the abdominal aponeurosis. And that's gonna be transversus abdominis. And that's it for our abdominal region.